everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for all of the Christmas and holiday videos to start. This is my absolute favorite time of the year. So today I am going to be sharing some fast-paced book recs. I did this a while ago, so I'll have that video in my description, but this one's going to be holiday and winter themed, which I thought would be perfect for this time of the year. I don't know about you guys, but I've already been reading Christmas books and holiday romances. I love reading Christmas books. In today's video, I have Kindle Unlimited book recs and then also holiday romances and then just books that are perfect for the winter time. They don't necessarily revolve around Christmas or the holiday season, but they're still perfect for this time of the year. Oh, and I also have some winter books that I personally want to read this year, so I'm going to go through those as well. But first we're going to start with our sports romances that are perfect for the winter season. So the first series, I actually have two series here. The first one is the Windy City series, so it's Mile High, The Right Move, Caught Up, and then Play Along. And I've read all of these books so far. That there's going to be a fifth one out next year, and these three are my favorite. They're all really good actually, but they are just all sports romances and it's a found family sort of series. Mile High is the first one. This is a hockey romance, so he's a hockey player and then she's like the flight attendant for that team, and they do not like each other at first, but I really liked this one. I thought it was super cute and I love Liz Tomfore's writing. These are thick books, but they go by really fast. And then The Right Move, he's a basketball player and then she is the best friend of the main female character in the first one. And I love this one. He's like one of my favorite book boyfriends of the series. And then Caught Up is the third one. This one is, he's a baseball player and then he needs a nanny because he's a single dad. The sports manager is her dad, so he kind of asks her to help out and be the nanny, and she's also a chef, I think. Yeah, she's a pastry chef. And then Play Along is the fourth one and the last one that's out right now. This one is baseball. He's a baseball player and then she is the she's a staff on there. She does like the like massages and she's like a sports doctor kind of. It's fake marriage, so he kind of agrees to marry her to help her with her job, and they kind of have to have like this facade. I don't know, you'll have to read it, but it's super good. And then the second sports romance series is the Vancouver Storm series by Stephanie Archer. The first one is Behind the Net and he needs a new assistant, so they went to high school together and she thinks that he like hated her, but that's not the case. And then the second one is The Fake Out. He is the new captain and she is the sister of the first book, like the main female character. And then The Wingman, I have not read this one yet, but it's about Hayden and Darcy. I know they're really good friends, so it might be friends to lovers. I don't know, I need to still read that one. And then we're just going to go through random romance books that aren't really necessarily holiday themed. So the first author I have is Ashley Poston. So the first one is The Dead Romantics, and I know this looks kind of more like fall spooky time, but her books are just super cozy and magical, and I feel like the winter time is a really good time to read them. This one, she is a ghostwriter and she can also communicate and see ghosts. She doesn't really like her new editor, and then she has to go home because of a family emergency, and then a girl shows up at her front door, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. And then one of my personal favorites, her aunt leaves her magical apartment, and it's kind of like if you go into the apartment, it can be like 7 years in the past, and she meets this guy in her apartment and he's living 7 years in the past and she's like 7 years in his future, and it's really interesting. Like, you wouldn't really know how this will plan out, but it makes a lot of sense, and I definitely cried reading this one. It's super good. And then I recently just finished this, A Novel Love Story. This one was also very good. It wasn't my favorite by her, but it was definitely interesting, like all of her books are. And she is making her way to a cabin for like a week that she's staying at by herself. She gets lost and shows up at this weird town, like this random small town, and she finds out it is the town of one of her favorite books. So it's pretty interesting. I really enjoyed it, and it kept me wanting to read because, you know, there's like kind of like a mystery in there, but I just really love all of her characters. And then the Rome, Kentucky series, the third one is actually coming out in January, and I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited. But When in Rome and then Practice Makes Perfect. And this is just a small town romance, and Sarah Adams' books are just, they feel like a big cozy hug. Like, she just has such a good way of making you fall in love with not only the characters but the town and the story. And I think When in Rome is my favorite, but they're both so good. And then I'm actually reading Love Light Farms right now. I'm over halfway, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's not my favorite. It feels, I don't know, something's missing from it, but I would still really recommend reading this, especially during like the winter time. She owns a Christmas tree farm, but it's struggling, so she signs up for like a social media contest, and the influencer that's running it is going to, I think it's like 5 locations or something. I don't remember the exact number, but she ends up being chosen for one of the locations, and she for some reason says that she has a boyfriend, and her boyfriend own the farm together, so she has to fake date her best friend. And I will say I really do love the main male character. And then I have Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This one, I read it last, I think January. Yeah, it was the first book I read in 2024, and I gave it 5 stars. This one, I don't know what it was about it, but I just really connected with the story. And even though it's thick, it goes really quick. And really any of Lynn Painter's books would be a good choice for if you're just looking for a fast book you can read in like one weekend. This is definitely it. It's one of her young adults. She meets Charlie at the airport, and he's kind of like this arrogant teenager, and they end up working together, and they have a lot more in common than you would think. I just really fell in love with the story and the characters, and Lynn Painter does the best young adult romances. And then one more series, the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. These books I just will always recommend in any video. It doesn't matter what season. You could read these in the summer, the fall, winter. They are just so good. Part of Your World, well, actually I can't even pick a favorite, because Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. And I honestly, looking at them, I don't know if I could pick one. I feel like Jacob in this one, I just really connected with him, and I really enjoyed this story. It was a lot more, well, really all of her books are deep and emotional, but I don't know. See, it's hard. I can't pick. I love them all. And then I'm going to go through some romantic-y fantasy books. So the first one is My Pride and Joy, The Love of My Life, Caraval. So it's Caraval. This is the story of Scarlet. It's like in her point of view. And then Legendary is Tella's point of view. And then Finale is it both of their point of views? Yeah. We get to meet Jax in Legendary. And if you've read Once Upon a Broken Heart, you will know that Jax is the best. And then Spectacular recently came out in October. This is like her holiday novella, which I have not surprisingly read it yet, but it's just so fun. All of the illustrations, I actually have 2 of the editions, but I think I might dive into this after I finish Lovelight Farms, because I don't know if I can wait any longer, but I also don't want it to be over. But her books are just very magical. You feel like you're transported to whatever location she's writing. And then along with Caraval, we have the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. This one is Jack's story and also Evangeline's story, and they are connected. You don't necessarily need to read Caraval before this one, but I highly recommend it. I feel like Caraval gets skipped a lot because this is more talked about, but I definitely recommend to read Caraval. And then the last fantasy series is Belladonna. I have not read Foxglove, the second one, and then Wisteria, I think is the third one. I think it is. I don't know, I could be wrong. Belladonna is about Signa and death, and she kind of feels like death follows her. There's a mystery in this, and I feel like this is just so unique, and I love death as a character. Like, I feel like a lot of authors wouldn't be able to pull it off like she does. And then Foxglove, I think, is about Signa again, and yeah, Signa and her cousin, and then fate and death. So we get death from this one, and then also fate, which I definitely want to read that one. And I saw that she's also having like a holiday novella next year called Holly, and it's kind of going to be similar to like Spectacular, so it's just a holiday novella with all of the characters, I believe. So I want to read all those before that. And then before I do the Kindle Unlimited, I'm going to go through the holiday Christmas books that I want to read this winter personally. So first is Some Like It Cold by L. McNichol. It says small town vibes, big bold love. Honestly, I don't know what it's about, but the cover, I'm always buying books from the cover. It looks like she goes back to visit her hometown for the holidays, and there's Arthur, a filmmaker, is trying to make her small town into a movie. It definitely sounds like a classic Christmas book. And then The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. This is in the same series as like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and this is the third one. This one's about Kira and Bennett, and she hates Christmas but bought a Christmas tree farm, and he gets trapped at her farm. And then Christmas Sweater Weather by Jacqueline Snow. It says a single dad and his best friend's sister. It looks like they end up at a ski resort for her brother's bachelor party. They kind of have to hide their romance there. And then this is a fun little Christmas romance series. This one I have read, Nick and Noelle's Christmas Playlist, and then the second one is There's Something About Mary, and then Along Came Holly. And it's a book about like a whole family, and I just love series like this that go along. You don't necessarily need to read them, I don't think, in order, but it's kind of fun to see like how the characters from like each book change throughout the story and throughout the other books. And then I have A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. This one, she's a young chef and she stumbles upon a secret family recipe that might lead her to the love and life she's been looking for. I bought this last year and I have not gotten a chance to get to it, so maybe this year I will, but I kind of have a lot, so we'll see what I get to. And then I have All I Want Is You by Fallon Ballard. This is like a really nice and short one. I feel like holiday books should be shorter and not like 600 pages, so otherwise it kind of drags on. So this one would definitely be fast-paced. It's less than 250 pages. It says, exes, professional rivals, just one bed, what can go wrong? That's all you need to know. And then the last Christmas romance is Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark. This one, it says, a charming queer holiday romance about 3 adult siblings, each at a personal and romantic crossroads, who reunite with their larger-than-life mother at her Catskills manor for an unforgettable Christmas. I kind of like the whole aspect of it being a bunch of people's stories. And then we're going to get into the Kindle Unlimited romance recommendations. So I have my Kindle here, and I'm also going to put the pictures somewhere up here of the covers. A Little Magic by Lindsay Lanza. This one I read last year and I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite holiday romance of the year. I know there's going to be a second one. I think it's going to be in a series, but I definitely recommend that one. It was super good. If you're looking for a funny one, Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn. Megan Quinn has the best books. Like, they're, if you want to just sit there and laugh, definitely read Megan Quinn's books. And I just love that she has Christmas ones. And then to go along with that, her other book that came out this winter, is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. And that one I really enjoyed. I thought it was super funny, and just seeing like the aspect of the Grinch change, like it's like modern day, was really good. The Grinch is like one of my favorite movies. They have the Amazon short story series, so it's under the Mistletoe collection, so it'll be available I think on Amazon and then also just on Kindle Unlimited. So it's Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandria Bellafleur. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. And then Cruel Winter with You by Allie Hazelwood, which is one I'm most excited for because I love Allie. And then Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria. I've never read a book by her. All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. And then Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey. I'm also excited for that one. I loved their last short story series that they did, and I'm really excited for those. And then Beige Flame by Juliana Smith. I read that one last year and I really did enjoy it. She pretty much tells her parents that she has a boyfriend, but she in fact does not. And she meets this guy on the plane, and he kind of helps her get through like her flight. She's scared of flights pretty much. And she asks if he will be her fake boyfriend. And the second one in that series is Snowed Under. And I'm excited for that one this year because the first one was really good. I think that one, she's kind of like the caretaker of her nephew. I think it's a nephew. And it's like a romance with the ski instructor. Oh, another short one that I'm excited for. I don't really know what it's called, like Christmas in Chestnut Springs. I don't know if that's the right title. But Elsie Silver released, I think it was last year, Christmas little novella of all the characters in Chestnut Springs. So I am excited for that because I miss being in Chestnut Springs. So those are all the Kindle Unlimited books I have saved on to my Kindle or that I've read, and that is also the end of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And happy Christmas, holiday, winter reading. Bye.